English language learning podcast. Thanks for joining me today. Our episode is another unpopular opinion where you get the chance and the space to listen to English, real spoken English, from a social media post. Why do I use social media? Well, because it's hopefully real people using real English language, nothing, you know, plastic from a textbook or from a language book, nothing outdated, right? These social media posts are current, they're modern version of English, from native speakers and people who are not native speakers as well. And they are interesting topics too. So when you're learning English or a language, you need opportunities to use, to consume, to digest, and to produce, para consumir, digerir e também produzir, usar o idioma. That's the intention of these episodes. So listen in your car, listen while you're walking your dog or your cat, listen while you're washing your dishes, listen while you are exercising, or listen while you're at your desk with a piece of paper, writing or taking notes. It's up to you, but you need exposure, exposição ao inglês de verdade, and that's the intention. So today's title for our opinion, and before I read, you can find the link to the post that I am reading in the info section on the YouTube channel for each video. And sometimes these posts get deleted, and okay, you have to deal with it and just listen. But as far as I know, all of the posts are still existing, or still up and not deleted. So, our headline, our opinion for today: the only difference between flirting friendly and romantic are intention and direct verbal confirmation. The only difference between flirting friendly and romantic are intention and direct verbal confirmation. Let me go maybe three more times. Two naturally, one slow. The only difference between flirting friendly and romantic are intention and direct verbal confirmation. Two more times, more naturally. The only difference between flirting friendly and romantic are intention and direct verbal confirmation. The only difference between flirting friendly and romantic are intention and direct verbal confirmation. Let me read now the elaboration. It's three paragraphs, so let's get started. This is something that I notice a lot. People who are confused if somebody is flirting friendly or romantic. And I notice the only difference are intention and direct verbal confirmation. I hear a lot of people who openly admit they flirt with people with no romantic intention. And when I ask those people what they do different when they do like somebody, they can't give a good answer. They still do the same thing. Another example, this person wrote, an other. It should be one word. Another example. This was a situation I was in with this girl. I was talking and flirting with her, and I was fully convinced she was flirting back to me for like a month. All mine friends and all her friends noticed it. Eventually, I asked her to go on a date together. And only at the end of the date, when I said we should do this again sometime, did she realize I liked her. Why? Because I verbally told her so. And she didn't like me. She was just her normal self, so she flirted with me friendly. Why? Because her intention was not romantic, but was friendly. Okay, yeah, there's a lot in those three paragraphs. I'm not sure this is a native speaker of English. There are some mistakes that a native speaker just would not make. They don't change the substance or the significance or the meaning of anything here. But for example, all mine friends, a native speaker just would never make that mistake. mine versus my, all my friends, my, m epsilon, all my friends, right? My friends, my is a possessive adjective. Mine is a possessive noun. That is mine. It is not yours. Versus that's my car, not your car. And there was one more here too. The punctuation was a little bit different, but social media, the punctuation is always a bit chaotic. Coming up in the next segment, we go through and review all of the English, right? And try and squeeze out difficult vocab to review and talk about grammar or spoken English versus written English. The only difference between flirting friendly and romantic are intention and direct verbal confirmation. That is our unpopular opinion today from user Ano Guy. Ano Guy. I'm not sure what the ANO is supposed to mean here. A no guy, maybe? Maybe. Not a no guy. um, Now we're going to review the English. Okay. There were not many vocab words here that were so complicated, in my opinion. So I chose one, and I think it's actually probably quite easy for Brazilians because you have the same word in Portuguese. But to flirt, right? To flirt. This is about flirting and um, behavior, right? Comportamento. In English, we have comportment. No one uses this word comportment. It's behavior. We have a post, an opinion about what's the difference between friendly flirting and romantic flirting, and they give us kind of their opinion about it, and then they give us a specific example. So the only word that I really picked out of here that was difficult, I think, maybe was to flirt. Everything else was pretty basic vocab. I didn't really see anything else. So let's try and look at the title first, because in the title there is a weird phrase or phrasing. The only difference between flirting friendly and romantic are intention and direct verbal confirmation. Friendly is an adverb. Romantic, um, I guess friendly could be an adjective too. Romantic is an adjective as well. So for some reason they put the noun, right, which is actually flirting. I know it has an ing, but it's a gerundo. It's a gerund. It looks like a verb. It smells like a verb. It feels like a verb, but it ain't a verb. It's a noun. It's a gerundo. So it should be the only difference between friendly flirting and romantic flirting, or the only difference between friendly and romantic flirting. You don't have to say flirting twice. You can say it one time and just use the two adjectives separately. But before flirting, because flirting is the noun, in English, adjectives are supposed to come before a noun almost exclusively. Um, so let's find some spoken English here that's different. This is something that I notice a lot. People who are confused if somebody's flirting. People who are confused if somebody is flirting. People who are confused if somebody is flirting. People confused. Somebody flirting. People's a noun. who are confused. Confused is an adjective. Um, somebody, noun, flirting is flirting, but flirting is the meat of the verb, right? Who are, if, is. These are pieces that are not stressed, not emphasized, not the focal point of a sentence. Remember, nouns and verbs especially, but adjectives too, are stressed. Um, and I notice the only difference are intention and direct verbal confirmation, and our intention and direct verbal confirmation, and just becomes mm. And I notice the only difference are intention and direct verbal confirmation. So the and, we almost never pronounce and in spoken English. It's almost always hot and cold, peanut butter and jelly. I'm gonna go to the store, and then, and then, and then back home. So and is something that you see the letters, you might pronounce the word in your head and, but when you're reading or speaking or when you're listening to English, you will not hear that word pronounced honestly or carefully. Rather, it's always fast and diminished. Um, let's see the second paragraph, the second sentence. This was a situation I was in with this girl. I was talking and flirting with her, and I was fully convinced she was flirting back to me for like a month. So, and is diminished. In with this. This was a situation I was in with this girl. I was in with this girl. So, was, girl, talking. Those are stressed. Was is not stressed. This was a situation. Situation is a noun, so that word is stressed. Um, again, talking, flirting. Let's see, with her. This was a situation I was in with this girl. I was talking and flirting with her, with her, with her, with her, with with her. So again, spoken English, you hear one word with basically two syllables. Written English on the paper, on the page, on the screen, it's two words, separate words, with her. We almost never pronounce objects separately from the words that come before them. Call her, not call her. Basically, we do not pronounce the H. It's an economy of sound. We don't think about it. There's no thought. It's not a thoughtful thing. It's just the way we naturally speak. Flirting with her, call her, hug her, um, play with them, call them, tell them, tell her, tell them. All of those, them, her, him, just become and what else? We could do the spoken English for every single sentence. I'm not going to do it for every sentence here, but we could. If you have any doubts, please, God, if you have any doubts about spoken English, send me a text. Text. You don't have my phone number. Send me, send me a comment, an email. Maybe I don't know if my email is on the about section. I'll probably add it. But definitely leave a comment if you have any doubt about the difference between how something is written, como está escrito, contra como está falado, because this is very different. I think this is the biggest problem for language learners, is the disconnect between what you see on a page when you're studying and what you hear when you're listening to someone speak. How you speak doesn't matter so much. People will understand you if you get the verbs and the nouns correct. Everything else is, well, you have some margins for error to make a mistake. But when you're listening, oof, it could be painful sometimes. What you're expecting to hear, separate, um, distinct words versus the reality de verdade, it's usually a blur, a smudge, one big connected uh, uh, output of sound with different points that are emphasized and stressed, and other points that are just not, that are expedited or diminished. So, coming up in the next segment, we have questions and conversation about flirting, about romance. Can you flirt and not be romantically flirting? Playful behavior. The only difference between flirting, friendly, and romantic are intention and direct verbal confirmation. All right, we're finally talking about this topic. It's about behavior, friendly versus romantic behavior. And I'm going to start here before the questions. Um, I think this person who wrote this, I already said in the previous segment, probably not a native speaker of English. No huge mistakes here. I understood everything. There's no, this is not a bad thing, right? Oh my God, they wrote something terribly incorrect or wrong. No, no. But flirting, flirting has a specific definition, right? I could check too, but as far as I understand the verb to flirt, F-L-I-R-T, it's necessarily romantic. And when I say romantic, I just mean it is indicating, está indicando atração. It's indicating attraction. Qualquer comportamento que está indicando atração de uma outra. Ou de uma outra, isso. So, friendly flirting, I understand the intention, I understand the concept, but if we're talking about the difference between behavior that's friendly or friendly behavior and romantic behavior or behavior that is romantic, then we're talking about being playful and having fun versus trying to indicate that you are attracted to someone, or that you or that you're trying to attract them to you. And it's kind of the same thing, right? The attraction part is, in my opinion, as far as I understand, imperative for the verb to flirt. But we could talk about behavior being friendly and behavior being flirty, right? Flirty, ooh, stomach. Flirty, F-L-I-R-T-Y, is the adjective for someone who likes to flirt, who habitually or typically is touchy or flirtatious, I think is another adjective. So the first question, what is the difference between flirting and playing or being playful? What is the difference between flirting and playing or being playful with other people? That's a good question. It depends on the context. Oh, let me do the Portuguese. Qual a diferença entre flertar e playful? Not jogável. It's not jogável. Brin Not brincoso, brincar, brincoso. I gotta check this. I'm so sorry. And I'm using Google Translate here. This will be an advertisement for Google Translate. Use it, abuse it. Playful. Brincalhão. Lúdico. Divertido. Okay, brincalhão. Divertido. Let me try expression. When you're using Google Translate and you put a word in and you're not so sure, put a sentence or an expression. So I used playful, brincalhão. Now I'm switching to he is very playful. and it didn't change. Ele é muito brincalhão. So, the difference between playful and flirty or flirtatious depends on the context, right? If you're at work in a professional environment, uh, almost anything could be interpreted as flirting if you're being physically playful. Any physical contact in a professional workspace could be considered flirty. A touch of the elbow, a grabbing of the hand, a touch on the shoulder. I don't mean that it's always flirty or frequently flirty, but it's certainly in a professional environment where people don't expect to be touched. Any physical contact could be flirty or could be interpreted by someone as, why did they touch me there? That was inappropriate, or what was their intention? I don't know what their intention was. They didn't need to touch me, so I'm confused about their intention for touching me. Um, in a social environment, yeah, very different. Social environment, the rules are very different. You can touch people. It's a strange comment, but you can touch people in a social environment, um, but you also have to live with the consequences, which might be not good. But I would generally say the difference between flirting and being playful is the intention. Generally, right? If you're not talking about in an office, but even in an office, right? The behavior could be the same in an office or at a bar. The intention at a bar of hugging someone could be benign, benigno. It could be, wow, this is a drunk person giving a big hug. No big deal. I didn't like it, but it was the intention was silliness. Versus at in an office where you hug someone or touch them, on the waist or something if you're giving a hug. Yeah, then you kind of go, why did that happen that way? So very difficult, the difference between flirting and being playful. I think if you're in a professional environment, the physical contact should be a no, 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 no. And any words should not be related to appearance or anything. Um, Versus in a social environment, you kind of have to understand where you are to decide if someone is showing their intention or not. Buying a drink, is that flirting? You could buy a drink for all of your friends or one friend, or you could buy a drink for an attractive person who's looking at you. So, buying a drink in the one behavior could be interpreted differently. Number two, can adults be playful with other adults without flirting? Can adults be playful? I gotta check this one. Adults be. Why is the sound on? Jesus. Can adults be playful with other adults without flirting? Se os adultos podem ser brincalhões com outros adultos sem flertar, um, os podem. No, no. Start with can adults. Os adultos podem ser brincalhões com outros adultos sem flertar. Um, yeah, context. I would say the context matters. But yes, I think yes, adults can be playful with other adults without flirting. Where again, if your intentions are honest, only you can know that. Someone might perceive you as flirting, but if your intentions are honest, then it's their responsibility to explain why they assumed you were flirting, né? É a responsabilidade da pessoa que está interpretando um comportamento de ser um flirt, quando a pretensão da pessoa que está fazendo o comportamento não está pretendo flertar de verdade, right? That's the difference here. I think that is the important part. What is the actual intention? É impossível saber isso em quase todos os casos, né? A pessoa pode falar ou pretensão, mas você tem que aceitar a palavra dele ou dela ou não. So you never really know the intention. If it's someone, again, if it's someone you don't know, then you have more doubt about the intention. Or you might assume something bad about the intention. If it's someone you do know, you might understand the intention because of the normal behavior, or talvez você vai justificar flirt quando a pessoa está flertando de verdade, você vai justificar que não estava fazendo isso, and that is potentially abusive too. So yeah, it's possible to be playful, right? Nobody accuses two men who are playful with each other of flirting. No one will come up to him and say, "Hey, man, you're flirting with that guy. Are you in?" No, they assume it's they're friends. Two women can be playful and joke and have fun without anyone accusing someone else or thinking that someone else is flirting. So yes, I do believe. What do you think? Is it possible for adults to be playful with each other without flirting? Number three, do you think gender is important when people consider behavior flirtatious or flirty versus friendly or playful? I just gave you my answer in the previous question. I think, yes, absolutely. If you see two men being physical or one hugging another, I don't think people assume that it's flirtatious or flirty behavior. I think people assume that it's playful. And also, I think people might assume a man being playful with a woman could be flirty, or the opposite. A woman being playful with a man, right, would be flirty. Think about a husband or a wife. Let's say a wife sees their husband, at a work Christmas party, and their husband talking to another woman, a coworker, and the woman is laughing and having her drink and smiling and maybe moves her hair or something. The wife might think, "Oh, this woman is being flirty or flirtatious with my husband." If the woman sees the man drinking or having a laugh with another man, maybe she never assumes that. This works in the opposite as well. If a husband sees his wife laughing and maybe blushing with their cheeks red, smiling and talking to a man coworker, maybe he thinks or feels, "Wow, this is flirtatious. This is not good." Versus if she has the same behavior with a woman, maybe he has no reservations or preocupações. I mixed the Portuguese and English. Preocupações or preoccupations or worries or fears about the interaction. So yes, I think gender is important or relevant. I'm not saying it should be important or should be relevant, but I believe it is. What do you think? Você acha que o gênero é importante quando as pessoas estão considerando um comportamento flirtatious ou brincalhão ou amistoso? Number four, do you know any particularly flirty or flirtatious people? What's up with that? Do you think they are intentionally flirty or just naturally playful with other people? Se você conhece algumas pessoas que estão particularmente flirtatious, o que é isso? Você acha que eles estão flirtatious com pretensão ou simplesmente e naturalmente são brincalhões com outras pessoas, outros adultos. What do you think? I do know some naturally flirty people, and I don't know if it's truly flirty or if it's just me interpreting behavior incorrectly. But what do you think? Our final question: socially, and in your experience or your culture or your region or your social circles, what behavior can indicate that someone is flirting because of romantic or sexual interests versus just being playful? Socially, socially, and in your experience or in your region, your culture, your social circles, what behavior can indicate that someone is flirting because of actual romantic or sexual attraction versus just being playful and being, not being intentionally, there we go, not being intentionally or not indicating attraction. Um, let's try that in Portuguese. Socialmente, no seu experiência, cultura, ou região, ou círculos sociais, ou que comportamento você acha, ou você acha pode indicar que alguém está flertando por culpa da atração sexual, romântica, contra simplesmente sendo brincalhão. I think I did that okay. I'm not sure. It felt good, but sometimes sometimes it comes out feeling one way, and you know it's not great. Okay, so the last thing we'll do is a classic list: 10 signs that someone may be flirting with you. Okay, and I want you to give me feedback. Do you agree or disagree that these are truly signs of being flirty? They make prolonged eye contact. Contato de olho ou ficando olhando nos olhos prolongado for a long time. They look at you quickly and then look away many times. And we in English we call that a glance. Glance. Like dance but with a GL, not a D. Someone glancing at you frequently could be flirting. They play with their clothing. Someone playing with their own clothing. A nonverbal sign of romantic interest. Okay, I'm not sure about that one. They give you lots of compliments. Over complimenting you. Or maybe laughing at a bad joke or laughing at a joke that was not good. Could be confusing in the office. People laugh at their chefes jokes, right? As brincadeiras do chefe, pessoas talvez vai rir mais que normal. Talvez o chefe vai interpretar isso como flertar. Uh-oh. They touch you while you talk. They touch you while you talk. So someone making physical contact with you while you are talking, like maybe touching your arm or something. So again, in the office, there's no reason to be doing that. So the intentions are suspeita. They raise their eyebrows up when they see you. As sobrancelhas, they raise them up when they see you. What else do we got? They have open body language. I don't even really know what that means. They have open body language. So their physical position. They're okay. Some modern stuff. They're always the first one to react to your social media posts. Whoa, was a modern one. Someone is always liking or commenting first on your social media posts. I don't use social media, so well, Tell me what you think, though. Do you have someone who's always first to like, and it can't be your mom or dad or grandma? They move their body closer to yours. Proximidade do corpo. And that's all I got for today. So let me know what you think about that short list of flirty behavior, comportamental, flirt. Ow, what would flirty be in Portuguese? Flirtazioso, flirty, florido, flirtatious, flirtacioso. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment, a like, a dislike, inscrever, subscribe. Check out the other videos. There will be some shorter news related videos coming soon as well. I've kind of switched over to the unpopular opinion videos, but I will do more news related videos that have kind of a different vibe than the unpopular opinion because the news completely different vibe, right? Social media post. I hope you enjoyed the episode and